Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, current members, boys, girls, and any of you that aren't quite sure, welcome to this evening's Call My Bluff demo competition, which is going to be a competition that is put to you from the county officers that are going to give you a bit of an insight of how the competition runs and how it all works. So my name is Matt Darke. I'm your current vice chairman of Devon Young Farmers for this year. So a massive welcome to everybody. We're going to just going to give you a bit of an explanation of what we've got going on this evening. So tonight it's a Call My Bluff competition. So we have 3 panelists on each team, and tonight the 2 teams are the current officers, who are the soon-to-be has-beens, and the vices, who are the wannabes at the moment. And then, so I will take it in turns, asking them a word, which they've been provided with before now. They will give a story of what they think the word means. And then it is up for the other team to make a discussion between them and try and work out which one of the 3 is telling the correct definition and story. And then hopefully they get it right and they get a point, and then there will be a tally of points come the end. So I will give a word, and then the panelists will have a minute to give a story on what the word is, and then once each panelist has given their 1-minute story, there'll be a 3-minute discussion for the other panelists. So hopefully that's a bit of a description of what the competition is for this evening. So now I'm going to welcome all of our panelists this evening. So can we have a big wave from the current officers, please? And then a big wave from the vices. So I'm going to let the current officers introduce them first. So I hand it over to the 3 current officers. Can you please say your name, maybe your role, just so people can relate yourself, and then just a brief bit of info about yourself.
Thank you, Matt. Good evening, even members. My name is Michelle Batting, and I am Devon YFC competition chairman. I'm also a member of Colne Valley Young Farmers, so big up to them.
Helen Bellew. I'm the current Agri chairman, and I'm a member of Buckland Brewer Young Farmers.
Hello, I'm Hannah Frost. I'm the current travel chairman, and I'm part of Cheriton and Tedburn Young Farmers.
Thank you very much. And then over to the vices. Could you please introduce yourself, your role, and just a little description about yourself?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vicki Gilbert, and I am current vice travel chairman, and I'm also a member of Cheriton and Tedburn Young Farmers.
Do we have Becky with us?
Sorry, I forgot to turn it off mute. Hi guys, I'm Becky Dennis. I'm part of Ludown Young Farmers, and I'm the current vice secretary for Devon. Oh, God.
Hi everyone, I'm Meredith Hoskin. I am currently junior sports and social chairman, and I am a member of Meshwell Young Farmers.
Now, say the word twice, so hopefully people can hear it if they don't get it through the first time, and then I'll leave it to the panelists to run through what they think it is. So the first word is for the current members, and the first word is matronolagnia. Matronolagnia.
Thank you, Matt. So it's actually matronolagnia, deviating from the truth or fact. So now, my nan, I know she has the best intentions, but my God, she is very guilty of matrolagnalia. Each year on the 11th of July, my birthday, I can expect a card from my nan. It's generally a £10 note with a side order fence. The card has contained all kinds of names under the sun in my time. Michael, Mitchell, and even Pam. Not sure where that one come from. Not to mention the fact that this year, for my 27th birthday, I received a 30th birthday card. Not ideal when you're sensitive already about heading towards the big 3 anyway. Last year, I received a boys card, and before that, I received an engagement card. I mean, I wouldn't mind an engagement card, but I seem to be missing the ring. So, matron alagnia, deviating from the truth or fact?
Well, in fact, it's actually pronounced matronolagnia, and this is an attraction to the older woman. So many of you will be very fortunate to know our chairman this evening, Mr. Matthew Darke. So I've known Matt for a long time now. So back about 8 years when I was just 17, we were raving it up at the show dance, the one that follows the Devon County show. So Matt wired a few girls in the corner of the room, and he was like, they're going to be mine. So off he goes onto the dance floor, strutting his stuff. So I'm talking slut drops, break dancing, the lot, anything he can do to impress these girls. But time wasn't on his hands. It was approaching 1 a.m. and time was running out. So he thought, this is my chance. So he heads over to the ladies, thinking he's going to impress them. But it didn't seem to be long until Matt was back with us. So I turned to Gareth Hutchins, who was also there, and I was like, oh, that didn't quite go to plan, did it, Gareth? And Gareth said he had no chance. Those girls are way older than him. Matt has matronolagnia. Matronolagnia, an attraction for the older women.
Okay, so I think it's matronolagnia, and it's a promotion from a senior assistant to matron in a hospital. Recently, there has been a massive reshuffle of staff at work within various nurses looking to go up the pay scale and take on senior roles. So, with 4 senior sisters wanting this matron role, they all obviously try and get it. But the triumphant candidate shouted out in the staff room one day, I've got a matronolagnia, when they received the wonderful news that she's now a matron. Of course, asking what this meant, she explained the definition: a promotion from senior sister to matron in a hospital. The whole room was amazed by this word. Matronolagnia, a promotion from senior sister to matron in a hospital.
Lovely job. Thank you, current officers. Right, so vices, it's now your turn. So we have Michelle, a deviation of the truth or a fact, and a lovely little story from her nan. And then we've got Helen, an attraction to an older lady. So yeah, thank you very much for sharing my pulling stories. And then we've got Hannah, a promotion from a sister to a matron. So yes, lovely story from the NHS. Big up the NHS. So over to you, Vices.
Personally, I don't think it's Hannah's, just a play on words. It's either between Michelle or Hannah. I've got a feeling it could be Michelle's, deviating from the truth or fact. It sounds a bit more like a definition. Don't know what you guys think.
I don't know if Hannah's would be, like you say, it's a bit of a play on words, but also they're generally dictionary definitions. And I don't know if something so specific to a hospital setting would necessarily, like that's, I don't know that other promotions would feature in the dictionary. So, if you get promoted from, I'm going to show that I don't know the definite terms here, but, from like a staff nurse to a sister, like, I don't know that I've ever seen promotion terms within a dictionary. And Helen's, yeah, I quite liked Helen's story because it's like completely true. Like I can just, my mind's eye, I've just got memories of Matt doing all of that. So, but then, like you say, Becky, actually, Michelle's story was good, but then the actual like definition that she said sounded more like it would be in a dictionary, whereas I don't know that Helen's would be. Although I suppose, yeah, I don't know, I feel like it'd be something more well known, rather than, you know, like people just say, oh, you know, you like a cougar. I wonder, like, wouldn't people know it if that was the case? Do you know what I mean?
I would agree with both of you about Hannah's. I think that's just like convenient. I'll just go with the word matron. But I think you agree that when you get promoted, like there's not a word for that, the actual movement. It's like basically the word of movement, like the promotion that's given you. I think that's what she's trying to say, because, but I don't know that's a thing. You just go from job role to job role. There's not an actual like movement other than a different name. I like Michelle's story. I can relate. My birthday cards usually have like a different sister's name in it, or yeah, I got Rebecca a card once. It said happy birthday Harry. She's called Rebecca. So I feel like I can definitely do a bit of deviating from the truth with a birthday card. Like I said, isn't that called a cougar when you go for a older lady?
Or someone older, yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure that's a, yeah, not sure that's in the dictionary. It's probably in the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, I think we should go for Michelle's then. I'm heading towards that one.
Yeah, I agree.
Vicky? She there?
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah.
I think I agree for Michelle as being the truth.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So, Michelle, was it a deviation from the truth or fact?
Nope, it was false.
So, who was the right word, please?
I was telling the truth.
There we go. Shows that my pulling story might have been a little bit true, but there we go. Right. So moving on, first word for the vices, and that's par break. And that's par break. So over to you, vices.
Thank you very much. Par break, to choke. I learnt this word on a young farmer's Skills for Life first aid training course many years ago. I'm sure you can all picture the scene. A group of us in Dunsford Village Hall on a wet Sunday. The heating typically not working so you can see your breath. Plastic stick-on wounds and a shed load of bandages. I'm pretty sure I've got some cracking photos of Dan Grist all wrapped up as a mummy if you ever want to see them. Finally, we got onto the recovery position, and our instructor Claire, who happened to be my neighbour at the time, she told us that the reason we put someone on their side is to prevent them from par breaking on their vomit. Now, obviously, none of us knew what this meant because it's a pretty big word for a wet Sunday afternoon. So she explained to us that par break means to choke, and we don't want people choking on their vomit. So, ladies and gentlemen, par break means to choke.
Par break, to vomit. As everyone knows, too much alcohol and not eating before drinking is only going to end one way. We all know how Saturday nights start. A few ciders, closely followed by a few gins, and some shots of whatever the bar has on offer. You then suddenly get that feeling of it all curdling in your stomach and needing to empty your bowels in private if you can, so you can par break, to vomit.
Thank you for Becky. You've literally made me feel slightly sick. I think a par break is a romantic meet between lovers. Now, the global pandemic has been a real test for relationships, with some couples being thrown together with no escape from another, while others have been left apart for months on end. I was really lucky because I got to stay apart from Will for months on end, and I didn't even have to buy him a birthday present this year. This serious test of relationships has seen affairs increase a lot in the last 6 months, with men's activity increasing by 18%. And the main reason for this is just the boredom caused by lockdown. It seems that a good old game of Scrabble or a jigsaw is no longer enough to keep people occupied. So a par break, a romantic meet between lovers.
Right, thank you guys. I think, yeah, we've got some lovely stories coming through there from you guys. So, right, current officers, is it Vicki to choke, or is it Becky to vomit? Both with lovely YFC stories that don't need to go too far. And then we've got Meredith, a romantic meet between lovers, where we all like to play away.
So great stories, girls. I'm a bit stuck on this one. I don't think it sounds like any of those definitions, to be honest, but obviously it is. So I'd say the most dictionary definition is obviously a romantic meet between lovers. It doesn't really sound like something that Meredith would just come up with off the top of her head. And then I feel like Vicki and Becky have both gone quite similar definitions to try and fox us out. So I mean, I didn't really appreciate Becky's story because literally I know that story too many times. But I would almost go towards Meredith's, I think, purely because it's more of a dictionary definition. What do you guys think?
Like you say, they've both Vicki and Becky have kind of gone quite similar routes, so they're really hard to choose between. I only did a first aid course not that long ago, and I'm sure I would have heard it if it was choke. I'm hoping Hannah, being working in the NHS, has heard if it's going to be choke or vomit. The romantic meet between lovers, I've definitely heard that in Call My Bluff before, but I can't remember the actual word, which doesn't pass in this situation. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Meredith. Michelle, I am swaying towards Meredith's.
Yeah, as par break, I've never heard of it as a medical term for anything like choking or vomiting. Your stories are all amazing though. But yeah, I kind of agree, it might be Meredith as well. And I was like, and Michelle, she does love a lovely little romantic par break away, don't you think? Her and Will together. So yeah, I think we should go with Meredith.
I was thinking as well with par as well. Par's almost like boiled potato, and it's like parboil. And then break is a funny word. So I'm happy to go with Meredith if you guys are.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm happy with that too.
We'll go with Meredith.
Right, thank you very much. So Meredith, is it romantic meet between lovers?
She's disappeared.
Where did she go?
No, it wasn't me. I'm having charger issues.
It was me to vomit.
Damn it.
Well done, Becky. Right, so we're going to move on to the second word from the current offices, and that's recumbentibus. And that's recumbentibus.
Thank you very much, Matthew. It's actually pronounced recumbentibus. So this, in fact, is in a position of comfort or rest. So I've only recently become aware of this word during lockdown, in fact. So we are all aware every single night. We just ended up sat on our sofas, basically. Monday night became the famous family quiz night. We got so desperate, we were even like naming hedgerow flowers. It got that desperate to find new rounds. Tuesday night, Netflix and chill, classic. Wednesday night, that's when it really peaked in our family, puzzle night. And recumbentibus was getting thrown around a lot by my parents. They kept mentioning it, and I was thinking, what on earth are they on about? And I tried to come across as quite intellectual, and I didn't want to let them think that I didn't know what this meant. So I ran up to my bedroom one night, found the bookcase, looked through, found the dictionary, flicked through. There it was, page 361, recumbentibus, in a position of comfort or rest.
Recumbentibus, the study of clowns. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about my little claim to fame. Did you know my grandfather and great-grandfather, who also was the mayor of Chichester, built the theatre in Chichester? So when I was young, I would often go and see various shows. One of my favourites being Barnum, closely followed by Singing in the Rain. This show being set further into his career than Greatest Showman, as you all may know it as. The whole show was set in a circus tent due to current building works on the theatre. And it was, I tell you, the most amazing, spectacular thing I'd ever seen in my life. Clowns, tigers, trapeze artists, fire, budgies, you name it, they were there. After the show, I was very lucky to be taken backstage, granddaughter perks, and got to meet the cast, including the budgies, where I spoke to the lead cast member, Brian Connolly, asking him about the clowns and what was involved in becoming one. Well, I saw myself as a class clown in school and thought I could probably take this up as an occupation, until he said they all have recubentibus diplomas. Well, I was shocked and thought, what is that? Giving a college in which you have to explain a qualification to do clowning. I'm thinking the same as you all right now. Who needs a qualification in how to use a can of silly string and squirty cream? But there we have it. To use said items, you need to study clowning, a recubentibus, the study of clowns.
Thank you, Hannah. I think you'll find a recubentibus is actually a knockout blow. So I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, I've recently had a recubentibus. I'd say lockdown has done some funny things to people, me included. I've developed what I would say is potentially a little love affair. There's been one man and one man only preoccupying my mind during lockdown, and that's everyone's favourite Prime Minister, the light of my life, darling Boris. His beautiful smile, his luscious golden locks, and the way he holds those thumbs up. Isn't he just amazing? From the 23rd of March, I've been avidly tuning into BBC One, hoping to see my man in action. And you know, I thought he felt the same way. I know many of you feel like Boris has been giving mixed signals during the pandemic. Well, imagine how I feel. He gives his briefings, and between you and I, he's been giving me a cheeky little smile, and he's definitely been giving me the eye. After building up the courage to slide into his DMs, he's not replied, and well, this is a massive recubentibus to me. I've decided I must move on, and the new man in my life, you might ask, the farmer of dreams, Mr. Adam Henson. So, recubentibus, a knockout blow.
Lovely job. Right, thank you, guys. So it's over to you, Vices, to work out who's telling us a porcupine here and who's not. So we've got Helen, a position of comfort or rest, and we've got Hannah's lovely little childhood story of a study of clowns, and then we've got Michelle with a lovely little sweetheart story of a knockout blow.
Gosh, imagine having a crush on Boris and then admitting it, knowing it's going to be around for like 100 years in video evidence. God.
God, don't say this.
Right? Wow. Wow. I really liked Helen's story. Quiz night and the puzzle night. And I think that like a lot of people can relate to that this year. I don't think I've ever spent so much time with my family in my entire life. But yeah, it's been great. It sounded like quite a dictionary definition. You know, used quite like big words. Michelle's, I love the story. I love the story. But do I necessarily think it's a knockout blow? I think it's probably quicker to say a knockout blow than whatever word it was you were saying. And Hannah's, I don't know. I feel like you maybe do actually have to have like some sort of diploma, but I don't know if that's just me watching too many Simpsons episodes where they do go to clown school. So I'm not sure. But again, I don't know that it would be, that doesn't seem to have anything to do with clowning and anything at all. And I've never heard of like a clown being called like a renter anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if you break the word down, it doesn't come back to anything I've heard of clowns being referred of. So I would think probably Helen. I think
so Helen, I thought she said her definition was a position of discomfort or rest. But I don't know that she was in any positions. Like, do you get in any positions to play a jigsaw? Do you get in any positions to do a bit of Netflix and chilling? Not sure on that one. So I'm not quite so sure on that one. Michelle's, like, imagine it a boxing match and you like smashes him out. You're not going to be shouting out like Recubentius, are you? You're going to be like, hey, knockout, 3 points, whatever. I personally think that it is Hannah's as a study of clowns, because clowns been around, like that's like a really old form of entertainment, and I reckon that because it's like so old, it's probably quite important to our culture that there might be a word for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure on this one. It's quite a difficult one, actually. Helen's definition does sound like a dictionary definition. Hannah's a study of clowns. I don't know if you would find that in the dictionary, to be honest. It's not. Can you do a study of clowns? It's a bit of a weird definition, and I just don't think it's Michelle's. Knockout blow. I don't think you get that in a dictionary, to be honest. So it's probably either between Helen or Hannah. But then, like Meredith said, Helen's story didn't like relate to a position of comfort or rest. Just didn't relate to the story. It was just all about board games. So yeah.
Position in time though. So like, my position is junior vice chair. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm sat in a junior vice chair. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical position.
Oh, right.
I mean, don't quote me. I mean, it's been a long time since I was at school.
Just like looking at the word as well, it's not, you can't pick any words out of it. It's a bit of a weird, like, you got bus in it and that's about it.
I was just thinking, if you think of Hannah as the study of clowns, would you not be, you wouldn't be studying clowns, you'd be studying to be a clown? Like, do you study, or do you study clowns to learn to be a clown?
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one.
So,
brief last time, so I don't know. They've worked that out either.
I personally think it's Hannah's, but we'll have to go for a vote.
We'll go with Hannah. Becky?
Yeah, fine by me.
Yeah.
Majority.
Yeah.
Okay, with Hannah. Right, so Hannah.
It wasn't me.
So reveal yourself. Who was telling the truth?
Me. But
Yep.
not my own brother, that was a lie.
But my story is pretty accurate, other than I didn't meet the cast after going to watch these films. But yeah, the rest of it's pretty true.
There we go. It was a love story, one of Michelle's love stories for a knockout blow. Right, so on to the second word for the vices, and that's columbriform. Columbriform.
Who was doing one first? Was it me?
Yep.
Guys? Okay, I guess it's... Columbriform, to be obsessed. Sometimes I wish phones were never invented. The way the technology has advanced has irreversibly changed everyone's ways and livelihoods, sometimes for the worst. One of my friends is constantly on her phone, checking Snapchat maps all the time to see where her boyfriend is. I said to her, "You are so columbriform about your phone and your boyfriend." She looked at me ever so confused, so I explained to her it means to be obsessed. Columbriform, to be obsessed.
Becky, I think you need to go and have words with your friend. She sounds like a stalker. I think a columbriform is to have a secret name. Now, there are thousands of different names in the world, and in the last 100 years, most popular names in England have been Mary and James. But unfortunately, as we have seen our music taste change from the likes of Boyzone and Blue, we have seen decreased popularity in babies called Sean and Lee. Instead, with the rise of the Kardashians and Demi Lovato, we've seen an increase in names such as Blue and Demi. Now, another interesting choice of name is Sunday. Now, if someone says to you, do you want to come over on Sunday? You're like, oh, wait, are you talking about, do you want me to come over on Sunday, or do you want Sunday to come over today? Now, I have quite a unique name, but if I was to be called Sunday, I think I'd want to change it. So a colobriform, a secret name.
Well, I think you're both wrong. Colubriform, shaped like a snake. A lesser known fact about me is that I'm a huge Potterhead. I'm nutty for anything Harry Potter. The books, I have 7 copies of each. The films, I've got them all. The play, I've seen. Mugs, bowls, coasters, games, toys, memorabilia. I've got it all. Fan fiction, I'm obsessed. And as for facts, well, you just try me. One thing that I struggle with, though, is that all things Slytherin are colubriform, shaped like a snake. Ever since the scene in the Deathly Hallows, where Bathilda Bagshot's body turns into a huge, great snake that lunges at the screen with a I've been petrified of all things snaky. And this is how I know, from unfortunate experience, that colubriform means shaped like a snake. Colubriform, shaped like a snake.
Lovely job. Thank you, Vices. Right, so over to you, current officers. So we've got Becky to be obsessed with her stalkerish friend with a phone. And then we've got a secret name from Meredith. And then we've got shaped like a snake from the wizard lover herself, Vicki.
Thank you, Matt. This is a tricky one, actually. First of all, I initially thought Becky was the one that I was swaying towards. It seems like quite something that would be in the dictionary. I think Vicki might be playing on the words of form at the end, like forming, shaping. I think there could be a slight play on words there. Meredith, I was like, no, it can't be a secret name. Surely that wouldn't be in the dictionary. But I also don't think you would ever think of that as a definition and think of a story to go with it, which is why I then go back to Meredith thinking that one might be the truth. So at the moment, I'm swaying towards Meredith.
Yeah, I was thinking, I don't think it's snakes. I can't, in my head, I'm trying to think what the sort of terminology for anything snake-like is. And I don't think it's anything to do with colubriform. I can't think what it is. Being obsessed, but why would we make it a really strange word for obsessed, as that's what we know it's day to day. But secret name, I was kind of swaying that way as well. I know it's not the most dictionary definition, but it kind of feels like it would work somehow. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going Meredith as my thought.
I would also tend to agree. I feel like Vicky's definition of being shaped like a snake is quite random. I just feel like, a shape's like a kind of cylinder-y shape, isn't it? So like, surely it'd be like shaped like a cylinder or something like that, like an actual shape, as opposed to like, you wouldn't say like shaped like a monkey or something, would you? If that makes sense. And then Becky's to be obsessed. I have to be honest that when I was trying to write my story about Boris, then I was actually Googling definitions about obsession and stuff, and that word didn't come up anywhere. Not that obviously I trawled the whole internet, so but so Meredith, I would say potentially could be right. I do think it's quite a random thing to be in the internet, in the dictionary as well, but I do think it's probably the most likely, and also random for Meredith to make up.
I'm just going to throw it in there though. You were just talking about shaped like things for Vicky's. It's just throwing me columns, snake-like, round column.
Yeah, that's true.
Really sorry.
That is really true.
That's something just made me think. I was like, oh, this is how, yeah, no, it could be that because of the column.
I've kind of written it down as columb opposed to CO.
Yeah.
I have as well. It's like I've written it down as Columb, as in like Columbia.
Yeah, me too.
I'd still go with Meredith, I think.
Yeah, I suddenly just thought, and I was like, oh, better just throw that in there.
No, it's a really good thought. Really good thought.
Yeah.
Should
Meredith.
we go with Meredith then?
Go for it.
We'll go with Meredith, please, Matthew.
Okay, so Meredith, is it a secret name?
No, it is not a secret name.
Right. Please tell her, reveal yourself.
It's me, and I am completely obsessed by all things Potter.
Column!
So there
There's
we
no
are.
M in it, by the way. There's no M word.
Right, so unfortunately we've got a very high scoring game of 0-0 so far, so all to play for in the last round. So for the last word for the current officers is widdershins, and that's widdershins.
Widdershins. Powerful circular current of water. Ladies and gentlemen, as a child, I loved making widdershins with my cousins. They were lucky enough to have a 14-foot circular pool where we regularly create whirlpools by running around the edge until at a point we couldn't stand up anymore. This was all very fun and all until one time my brother slipped from the power of the water, resulting in him losing his trunks and hitting his chin on the edge of the pool, leaving a trail of blood behind him as he circulated around the edge, with the being within his current birthday suit. Everyone else evacuated, and due to the nature of his injury, the pool had to be emptied, meaning we weren't able to make any more widdershins, a powerful circular current of water.
Thank you, Hannah. I would like to disagree. Widdershins, moving in the wrong direction. So those of you who will know me will know that I absolutely love dancing. Each and every YFC disco, I'm always the first to be on the dance floor strutting my stuff. My personal favourite DJ requests, a toss-up between Beyonce, Single Ladies and High School Musical Breaking Free. Pre-lockdown, DJ Dan Grist had the pleasure of watching me do my thing every Friday night from his DJ booth, and he actually thinks I'm quite good. Dan had bigged me up so much that I in fact went for a socially distant audition to join dance troupe Diversity. I gave it my all, but sadly I received a call saying that I was unsuccessful due to the widdershins. Can you believe it? They had the cheek to say that I wasn't able to move in the right direction at the right times. However, I think they were just a little bit jealous of my moves, and to be honest, I can't blame them. This, however, has led to the beginning of my dance career, and I'm pleased to announce that I'm now available for dance training. Please hit me up if you aspire to have the moves and grooves just like me. Widdershins, moving in the wrong direction.
Thank you for that fantastic story, Michelle. So widdershins is in fact inappropriate behaviour in the workplace. So in a previous job, I worked in quite a large office. There was about 15 of us in one room. And the lovely lady that sat next to me, she was called Jolene. She had a major crush on our line manager, who was Brian. So Brian and Jolene. So it was the Friday before Christmas, the time of year, everything gets a little bit relaxed, and the work had really kindly put on a buffet spread and a few bubbles for us. And it's safe to say Jolene had had just a few too many bubbles, and with no warning, she breaks out in song. My mind's telling me now that my body is telling me yeah. Looking Brian directly in the eye. We literally just all fell silent, and I'm afraid to say she didn't quite get the response that she was looking for. But that's the day we all found out that widdershins was inappropriate behaviour in the workplace.
Right, so there we go. We've got the full auditions coming out from our members this evening. So, right, Vices, it's up to you now. Have we got it as a movement in the wrong direction from Michelle with her lovely 1D story? And then we've got inappropriate behaviour in the workplace with our lovely singing from Helen, or we've got a powerful circular current of water from Hannah.
I personally think Hannah's, isn't that called like a rip tide? When the water drags you round and round in the sea, is that not what that's called? Surely, like, also like something to do with water, it's likely to come from like a sea or a river, and the rivers don't really go round in circles, but you do get rip currents in the sea. I think that's the ones. Michelle's, now I do think it could be, I quite like this one, moving in the wrong direction. Like, I can feel like that being a thing, because, you know, imagine doing the cha-cha slide and it says go left and you go right. I feel like that might that'd be a major drama. I feel like that could have a definition. Also, Helen's, I think that could also, inappropriate behaviour in the workplace, I feel like that could be a word. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in a workplace these days, but whether that's an old word, like, I feel that'd be quite a new definition, so I would suspect most of these words are quite old, so I'm not sure on that one.
I'll just go now. Obviously Hannah and Michelle's are quite similar to do with like direction, so maybe that they're trying to sway us. Then Helen's is like completely different. I'm not sure on this one either. It's quite a difficult one. Whether it is Helen's, and Hannah and Michelle have just done very similar ones to try and sway us off of Helen. Like you said, Meredith, on Hannah's definition, that'll be like a riptide. That's kind of very similar. And whether they're playing like wither, like weather, wither, on Hannah's, I don't know. I'm maybe saying, well, who was truth last time? Michelle. So the only person left to do a truth is actually Hannah. Unless Michelle or Helen are going to do another truth again. I'm not sure. What do you think, Vicky?
So with Hannah's, in her story, she switched between using that word and also using whirlpool. And I have heard of whirlpools before, because it's like when you let the plug out the bath and the water all goes down. So I don't know if there would be another word for a whirlpool. I don't know if it's just one thing. I haven't heard of the other, whereas sort of like you've heard of hurricane, you've heard of typhoon, you've heard of tornado, you've heard of whirlwind, you've heard of whirlpool. So I wonder, like, you've heard of all of those, so I don't know, is there another one? And then with Michelle's, I love that story. I can totally imagine you. Like, you should have been in on that BGT a couple of weeks ago, their big dance. Like, you know, oh, I totally could have seen you in it. It's their loss. Totally their loss. Moving in the wrong direction. I feel that that could have like a formal name, if that makes sense. I don't necessarily know that moving the wrong way would be it, like, you know, I don't know that that's it. I feel like there could be another word for it. Helen's, I actually had to do some training a couple of weeks ago. We got an email on a Friday morning to say that we had 14 pieces of mandatory training that had to be done within a week, and it was like, thanks. And one of them was about you know, about sexual harassment and inappropriate language, and, you know, sort of all of those things in the office. And it had the really awkward cartoons about, you know, if your male boss compliments your perfume, is that harassment? Is it not? Turns out it is. Who knew? And I didn't hear this word come up. And I feel that maybe, I don't know, it's going to go one of two ways. Either the council didn't put it in because we're not intelligent enough to understand, or the council would have put it in because it's a formal word and we're supposed to use proper words for everything. I'm personally leaning more towards Michelle, but yeah, I don't know, they're difficult ones, and it's worse when there's a good story because you invest in the story, not the word, don't you?
I'm drawn towards Michelle's personally.
Yeah, same. I think it is. Yeah, maybe we should just go for Michelle's.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, go for Michelle.
Oh, right. So, Michelle, your little 1D story of moving in the wrong direction.
I was telling the truth.
Well done. Our first point of the evening. Right, so now we're on to the last word of the evening, and this is for the voices, and that's nupson. Nupson.
Okay, so I had a really good day with my mum today. Here are the list of things that she asked me to do and I did not want to do. Mum, Meredith, please get out of bed. Me, nupson. Mum, Meredith, pack the dishwasher. Me, nupson. Why don't you just let the dogs lick them clean? Mum, Meredith, go and bed the cows. Me, nupson, it's raining. Mum, Meredith, please get dressed out of your pyjamas. Me, nupson, I think I'll just go back to bed. Mum, Meredith, please to take the dogs out for a walk. Me, nupson, I'm sure they can walk themselves. Mum, Meredith, please can you peel the potatoes? Me, nupson, can't one of my other sisters do it? Mum, Meredith, please lay the table. Nupson, just throw them on the table, people can help themselves. Mum, Meredith, please can you hoover the sitting room? Me, Nupson, it's not even that dirty. Mum, please come down for your roast dinner. Yes, I will, Mum, I'm coming. Nupson, not wanting to do something.
Nupson, a simpleton or a fool? Now, I do apologise in advance to my sister for this, and I hope she doesn't murder me in my sleep tonight. But how I laughed when I got this word. Ever since my sister has been small, our dad and I have had a song that we sing to her, and it goes, my name's Holly and I'm a dipstick. My name's Holly and I'm a dipstick. In repeat, following her wherever she goes. Yeah, she loved it, I'm sure. It died a death as she got older. However, a couple of years ago, she took part in the 2-ball banger rally. Don't try and say that fast. And whilst on this rally abroad, she won the Dipstick Award. The song obviously made a revival, but unfortunately, it no longer had the desired effect. So, we hit the dictionary, trying to find an alternative. Now, unfortunately, nupson doesn't quite fit the tune of the song. However, it's a much better flippant remark. Oh, you're such a nupson. So, until we either find a better word or a different tune, I will just have to satisfy myself in that whilst Holly, her song always was, my name's Holly and I'm a dipstick. Mine was, Victoria's got her hat on, hip hip hooray. Guess who the favourite child was? Nupson, a simpleton or a fool?
It's actually pronounced noopson, an expert. Only today I was reading on Facebook how Natural England want to stop sheep grazing on the Oakhampton Commons for 6 months of the year. Ridiculous, right? I then came across noopson in the article when a farmer stated how Natural England thought they are so noopson in farming, when in fact it's the farmers who work the land. I then had to look up the word on good old Google and it there said noopson, an expert.
Right, thank you very much, Voices. So for the last discussion of the evening, for the current officers, so we've got Meredith not wanting to do something with her lazy days story. And then we've got Vicki, a simpleton or a fool with her unfortunate sister story. And then we've got Becky with an expert telling us about the Natural England and the Commons story.
Okay, I'd like to start this one off. First of all, I don't think it's Becky's. Like, if it was a noopson for an expert, wouldn't we be hearing this all the time in any sort of scenario we're in? Like, we all have experts in every area that we all work in, and I'm sure it would be something far more common to hear. I'm swaying towards, I don't know, maybe Vicky's. Just sort of, it kind of fits as a word to the thing a little bit. Meredith, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to ring or sort of follow in my ears. I don't think the definition works for someone who's not wanted to do something. Like, I don't want to do a lot of things in my life, so I just feel like nothing really works. But like a simpleton, a nupson, sounds sort of maybe a little bit Oliver Twisty sort of word. I might correlate in that aspect. I don't know. I'm swaying towards Vicki myself.
I agree, Hannah. I think I'd say that I'm probably swaying towards Vicki as well. I feel like an expert is kind of almost like a word in itself. Like in the dictionary, there would be like a definition for expert. So then why would there be a word that's like the definition is expert kind of thing? And then Meredith, I think not wanting to do something is a bit random. I don't feel like it's a very dictionary thing to say. And then a simpleton or a fool, I feel is a lot more likely to come from a dictionary. And also like nup son is like son, and like it might have been like back in the day, like in the olden times, people might have said like their son, you know, like is stupid, like that kind of, like, I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of, the word is the kind of word that would say that kind of thing.
I would, completely agree, really. I actually read the exact same article that you did, Becky, and I didn't find that word, which is a bit bizarre. I must have just done a quick read and missed that one. I'm kind of with you. Vicki, I did think, is she playing on like numpty? But I'm with you in the fact that I think Meredith, that's quite an easy, not wanting to do something, it's quite easy to make a story up and an easy saying to kind of create. But I don't think that Vicki would have thought of that as something to make up a story about. It's not something easy to make a story up about. So I would be completely with you both to say Vicki.
Yeah, I think we're going to go with Vicki, please, Matt. Matt, you need to turn off your
Right, sorry about that. So right, so Vicki, is it a simpleton or a fool?
Yeah, it's true, and the story was true as well, unfortunately.
Right, so thank you very much. That was the last round. We've had an extremely high scoring game today, or this evening, or competition this evening, of 1-1. So yes, I suppose some people will be right in saying everybody's a winner. So there we go. So that's the end of tonight's Call My Bluff speaking competition. Like I said at the beginning, this is a demo of how this competition would work for anybody who hasn't taken part in it. So as you can see, it's a very chillaxed competition where we can all have a bit of fun, come up with some weird and wacky ideas and stories. And yeah, some of them aren't true. So for the ones that are about me, we'll say. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of discussion about the stories. So a lot of the marks are given on the detail of the stories, and then the discussion of which story is right. So a lot of it is, most of your marking is done on that. The actual points don't really account to a huge amount. So a lot of it is done on your stories and the discussion. So like I say, a very easy competition to get into. I'm hoping a lot of you will be able to, will now feel they can get involved with our county competition, which is going to be on the 3rd and 4th of November. So we've got an intermediate and a senior competition. So as you will see, it's an easy competition to get involved with. So it would be really good to see loads of you involved. So that's pretty much all from me. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Dan and Michelle for all the work that they've done putting this competition on this evening. And then also like to thank our 6 panelists for giving up this evening and telling some lovely, weird and wonderful stories. So thank you very much to you guys. And I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to watch this evening's demo Call My Bluff competition. Hopefully you find it of some use. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you all look after yourselves, and hopefully see you all getting involved with our Call My Bluff competition on the 3rd and 4th November. Thank you very much.